Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, we continue following the warm and heartfelt love story of Hung and Hoai-sie. In the previous episodes, the two of them went through many challenges, but those hardships only helped them understand and cherish each other even more. And in this episode, a surprising moment from Hung's mother will stir the hearts of everyone as each scene unfolds. Make sure to watch the entire video to feel the emotions waiting ahead and to understand why that moment is so important to both Hung and Hoai-sie. Winter had truly arrived. Cold winds from the valley swept upward, slipping through every gap in the old wooden walls, making Hoai-sie's small house tremble softly as if it, too, felt the touch of the icy season. In the pale morning light, Hoai-sie bent over to adjust the thick cloth around the bed. A simple item, yet the most precious thing for her and her son during freezing days like this. Her hands were numb and red from the cold, but every movement remained gentle and orderly, as though she were soothing herself. As she pulled the cloth a little higher, she paused and looked at the empty space beside her. A quiet sigh escaped. Then, a small smile appeared on her lips. As long as Tony is home from school, holding him close will warm everything up. The words were barely louder than a breath, yet enough to warm her heart on this biting morning. After finishing the chores, Hoai-sie wrapped a scarf around her neck, adjusted her wool sweater, and lifted the basket of oranges before stepping outside. The door swung open, and a gust of wind rushed in, so cold she had to close her eyes. The path leading down to the market was covered in a thin layer of mist, and the sky carried that soft gray typical of winter in the mountains. She pulled her scarf up to cover half her face, took a deep breath, and began walking. No matter how cold it was, her steps remained quick and steady. Years of hardship had taught her never to slow down. When she arrived at the market, the atmosphere was the opposite of the quiet morning, voices calling out, conversations, laughter, all blending into a lively hum. People's eyes brightened the moment she set her basket of oranges down. Wiping her hands on her sleeve, Hoai-sie called out with cheerful energy. "Fresh oranges from my orchard. Juicy and sweet. Only 10,000 a kilo." Her gentle nature and willingness to help others made everyone in the community fond of her. Some bought 2 kilos to eat, others bought 10 to send to relatives in the city. Within moments, the once full basket had already dropped to half. Hoai-sie weighed oranges while chatting, her hands moving swiftly, her eyes warm, making the cold winter morning seem strangely pleasant. When the sun finally rose higher, she looked into the basket, only a few oranges left. A lightness settled in her chest. Brushing off her hands, she adjusted the scarf slipping off her shoulder. A gust of winter wind hit her again, sharp enough to make her shiver. "I wonder how cold it is up there." The thought came unexpectedly, carrying a soft ache with it. Hung. He was on duty deep in the mountains, where snow sometimes fell at night, where the wind was so harsh that opening a door could numb your fingers. Hoai-sie stood still for a moment. People passed by, but her mind wandered to the familiar tall figure she missed. He rarely talked much, yet whenever it came to her being cold, Hung was always more serious than necessary. Thinking of that made the corners of her lips lift. She tightened her grip on the basket handle, her eyes filled with determination. "Today, I must buy Hung a gift. Something warm and something truly worthy of him." A small thought, yet enough to heat her heart. And so, in the midst of winter's chill, Hoai-sie's steps grew light, almost as if sunlight were following behind her. In the large market, Hoai-sie walked slowly between the crowded clothing stalls. Strings of neon lights flickered above, casting soft glimmers across the thick and thin fabrics, making the whole space shimmer gently in the winter chill. She reached out to touch each piece of cloth, sliding her fingertips along the surface to feel its thickness and softness. Every shirt she picked up, she examined the seams carefully before setting it down again, still not fully satisfied. "This one is warm. He would stay cozy wearing it," she whispered to herself, her eyes gentle but filled with genuine affection. She continued browsing, choosing each item as though selecting something for the most important person in her life. Then, she noticed a dark-toned athletic set, simple, soft, and perfectly sized. Her eyes brightened. "This one suits Hung." And just beside it, she spotted another set, warm, feminine, and comfortable. She touched it lightly, a small smile forming on her lips. She did not actually need more clothes, but she imagined a day when Hung returned from duty, and the two of them would wear matching outfits, jogging together in the crisp morning air of the valley. A small dream, really, but warm enough to melt through the winter cold more than any thick jacket hanging before her. Hoicia folded the two outfits neatly, paid for them, and held the bag close to her chest as she walked outside. The winter wind blew through her hair, but her steps felt light, as if she were carrying a secret happiness. Passing through another section of the market, she heard the soft yelp of a puppy. Turning around, she saw a stall selling tiny dogs, small pups, eyes barely open, curled together inside a blanket-lined box. One little golden puppy lifted its head and looked at her, its eyes sparkling like drops of dew. Hoicia bent down and gently picked it up. The puppy nuzzled into her hand, warm and soft like a tiny cushion. "Oh my, Tony would love you so much." Her smile blossomed, pure and bright like a rare winter sunbeam. Without hesitating for long, she took out her wallet, paid the seller, and cradled the puppy close to shield it from the cold. The little pup shivered slightly, breathing warm air into her palm, making her heart soften even more than when she thought about Hung's gift. She continued walking through the bustling market, one hand holding the bag of clothes, the other wrapped around the tiny dog. In the bone-chilling winter air, Hoicia felt something warm quietly flowing through her chest. On the way back from the market, dark clouds gathered quickly as the wind grew colder. Hoicia held the little puppy tightly against her chest to shield it from the gusts. When she passed by Hung's family field, lush and green every summer, she suddenly stopped. Hung's mother was standing by the bank, her brown blouse blowing in the wind, her eyes fixed on a long stretch of the riverbank that had been washed away. The muddy water rushed past, carrying bits of soil with it, each clump falling into the stream as if taking with it the effort of countless seasons. Hoicia stepped closer and spoke gently. "Mom, the bank is collapsing badly, isn't it?" Hung's mother let out a long breath, heavy and tired, like the late afternoon wind. "Yes, the people who borrowed this field never took care of it. With the water hitting this hard, a few more days and the whole bank will be gone. If Hung comes home, I suppose I will have to hire someone to redirect the flow. I am too old now. I cannot manage this anymore." Her voice wavered, not with blame, but with the exhaustion of someone who had spent her whole life working the land. Hoicia set her bags down and touched the older woman's arm softly. "Please do not worry, Mom. There will be a way to fix it." Before she could say more, the first drops of rain began to fall. The sky darkened so quickly that within minutes, rain poured down in sheets, as though trying to swallow the entire field. Hung's mother pulled her blouse tighter and turned to Hoicia. "Come home with me and wait out the rain. This storm will not let you reach home in time." Hoicia nodded, holding the puppy close, and followed her. They hurried along the slippery dirt path. The small, humble roof of the old house soon appeared, warm and steady amidst the white curtain of rain. Under the creaking eaves, the sound of raindrops hitting the tiles echoed like a steady drum of winter. Hoicia set the puppy down, wrapped it in the scarf, and sat beside Hung's mother. Neither spoke for a long time. Only the rain filled the silence, along with the familiar scent of damp earth after a cold wind. Then Hoasie finally spoke, her voice soft, afraid to disturb the quiet air. Hung wants to come home so much, Mom. But he worries that you and I will not get along. He said, if the family ever argues because of us, he would not know what to do. Hung's mother turned to her. Her eyes were no longer sharp or distant as before, but thoughtful and softer. The rain kept falling, but there was something shifting in her gaze. After a long moment, she spoke slowly, each word carrying the weight of her heart. I was wrong in many ways, Hoasie. Before, I was harsh and stubborn. But I have changed. I truly care for you now. If he comes home, I will bless the two of you. Hoasie's eyes widened. In the dim, misty light of the rain, she saw, perhaps for the first time, Hung's mother without the sternness she once feared. No more distance. No more suspicion. Only sincerity. And a gentle, remorseful warmth. Something that made Hoasie's heart tremble softly, so warm it left her speechless for a moment. The rain had stopped at some point, leaving behind the scent of damp earth rising gently into the cold air, creating that familiar earthy smell unique to winter in the mountains. The pale gray sky stretched out with long streaks of drifting clouds, like thin trails of smoke carried slowly by the wind. Hung's mother put on her old conical hat, turned to Hoasie, and spoke in a calm, gentle voice. The rain is light now. Come with me for a moment. Hoasie held the little puppy close to keep it warm, nodded, and followed her. They walked along a narrow dirt path behind the house, the ground still covered with uneven patches of rainwater. Each step sank slightly into the softened earth, leaving footprints that quickly filled with water again. After a short walk, Hung's mother stopped. Before them lay a plot of land about 300 square meters wide, freshly tilled, the smell of moist alluvial soil rising richly into the air, a scent that brought a strange sense of peace to someone like Hoasie, who had lived her life working the fields. This, Hung's mother pointed, her voice low but filled with meaning. You can cultivate this land. Just help me keep it. Hoasie tightened her hold on the puppy, her eyes widening in disbelief. She could hardly trust what she was hearing, a piece of land right next to her home, freely entrusted to her by Hung's mother, without conditions, without hesitation, like a precious offering of trust. Really, Mom? Her voice trembled not from the cold, but from overwhelming emotion. Hung's mother simply nodded, her eyes calm yet warmer than ever. In that moment, something welled up inside Hoasie, warm, light, and impossible to put into words. For others, a small piece of land might not mean much. But for Hoasie, someone who lived by the seasons, someone whose life depended on the soil, this land felt like a doorway to a new future. Thank you, Mom. Truly, thank you so much. She bowed her head, her voice thick with emotion. Her arms tightened around the tiny dog, as if she feared this joy might disappear the moment she loosened her grip. But the surprises of that day were not over yet. As they walked back toward town, the sounds of traffic, vendors calling out, and the smell of food from nearby shops created a lively contrast. Hoasie gently rocked the puppy to sleep in her arms while following Hung's mother, thinking she had nothing more to say. But suddenly, Hung's mother reached out and took her hand, a light touch, yet enough to make Hoasie turn in surprise. Come with me, Hoasie. She looked up, and immediately froze. Right in front of them was a large jewelry store, glowing brightly under white lights. Glass display cases sparkled, casting shimmering reflections across the room, a kind of elegant, luxurious brightness that Hoasie rarely dared to step into, much less imagine herself becoming the center of. She hesitated at the entrance, but Hung's mother gently pulled her inside. In the store, Hung's mother stopped in front of the most striking jewelry set, a necklace, bracelet, and earrings all glowing in warm gold, reflecting light like drops of pure sunlight. "I want to buy this for you." Her voice was soft, yet each word carried profound sincerity. "Think of it as my apology for everything I did wrong before." Hsieh immediately waved her hands frantically. "Oh no, Mom, I cannot accept that. I am already grateful for the land you let me use. That alone means everything to me. Such expensive jewelry. I truly cannot take it." She meant every word. Not because she was embarrassed, but because she knew the greatest gift was already the kindness in Hung's mother's heart, a kindness far more precious than any glittering piece of gold. For a long moment, Hung's mother looked at her. Her eyes, for the first time, held none of the sternness or strictness of before. Only gentleness, regret, and a quiet affection that Hsieh had never dared hope for. "You really are a good girl." Her voice was low, trembling softly. "I truly failed to see that earlier." The words struck straight into Hsieh's chest. She smiled, a small, tender smile. "As long as you care about me, that is enough to make me happy, Mom." Under the warm golden light reflecting off the display cases, Hsieh realized that the distance between them, the distance she had feared for so long, had completely dissolved. No more hesitation. No more misunderstanding. No more barrier between his mother and a stranger. Only two women, sitting side by side in a glowing jewelry shop, sharing respect, and a sincere affection warmer than any golden ornament around them. When she reached the gate of her home, the scent of damp earth after the rain still lingered in the air. Drops of water fell from the tiled roof, making a gentle tapping sound. Hung's mother stood under the porch, watching Hsieh carrying a bag of clothes and the tiny puppy, Mike, in her arms. Her eyes were softer than usual. She adjusted Hsieh's scarf and spoke with the tenderness of a mother caring for her own daughter. "The weather is still windy and wet. Remember to wear your hat, dear. Raising Tony on your own is hard. You must take care of yourself." Simple words, but warm enough to chase away the cold of winter. Hsieh felt a sting at the bridge of her nose. She hurried to invite Hung's mother inside, pouring a steaming cup of water and placing it gently in front of her. "Please drink this, Mom. It will warm you up." The warmth from the cup spread through her fingers, yet it was nothing compared to the warmth blooming in Hsieh's heart, the feeling of being understood, being cared for, something she once thought she would never receive from Hung's mother. They chatted for a while, the sound of rain tapping outside the yard adding to the tranquil atmosphere. When the rain eased, Hung's mother stood to leave. Before stepping out, she turned back, her eyes carrying the same rare softness as a warm winter breeze. "If you need anything, call me. Do not hesitate, all right, dear?" Hsieh nodded, lowering her head slightly to hide the emotions welling up inside. Only after Hung's mother slowly disappeared over the slope in front of the house did California close the door. The small house was still cold, but her heart felt warmer than a pot of freshly cooked rice. She set down the bag and lifted the little puppy into her arms. Mike looked up at her, blinking his round dark eyes before nuzzling into her hand for warmth. She smiled, gently stroking the tiny spine of the puppy. "Be good, Mike. Hung's mother has truly changed. Hung will be so happy when he hears this." Her smile was soft, but it carried a happiness she never dared dream of before. No more awkwardness. No more fear of distance. Today, every word, every look from Hung's mother had dissolved the worries that had weighed on her for so long. She gazed out the window. The sky after rain was slowly brightening. Inside her heart, a new sense of hope quietly blossomed. The future no longer felt uncertain. Because now, between her and Hung's mother, they were no longer strangers. They were family. Today's story pauses here. A rainy afternoon that seemed ordinary has quietly opened a new chapter in Hoaisie's life. Her relationship with Hung's mother has changed, becoming warmer and closer than ever before. And that very change will lead to important turning points in the days ahead. But what will happen when Hung learns about all of this? Will he return sooner to see Hoaisie? Or is there something unexpected still waiting for them? Stay tuned for the next episode to follow the emotional journey of Hung and Hoaisie and the new developments in their small family. Remember to like, share, and subscribe so you will not miss the upcoming episodes.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình nhé. Nay thì mình vẫn đang trong quá trình làm video. Không biết là có ok không đây này mọi người ơi. Đau bụng quá. Cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi video của mình. Tạm biệt mọi người nha. Hẹn gặp lại mọi người trong những video tiếp theo nha.